Today we are looking at all the Marvel comics with a cover date of September and October 1962. Marvel has now officially been publishing new Silver Age comics with superheroes for almost a year, and Stan Lee is on a real pattern here. And these are the first 2 months that Stan Lee kicks it up a notch, and for the first time publishes more than 2 superhero comics in a single month, and in fact, in both months, releases 4 of them. Of course, he's also writing Westerns and teen and romance titles as well, but today we're focusing only on the superhero comics of these 2 particular dates. Let's jump in and start looking at them. Fantastic Four number 6, cover date of September 1962, has a 12-cent cover price. It is the 11th Silver Age superhero comic from Marvel. It features the Submariner and Doctor Doom in the first super villain team-up in the new Marvel Silver Age universe. And it is the second Silver Age appearance of the Submariner, in fact. So classic cover. And it also the second appearance ever of Doctor Doom, who just appeared in the last issue. Jack Kirby and Dick Ayers art. On the CGC census, you can see that copies have really been picking up, getting graded. Over 1,000 copies now slabbed in all conditions combined, but there's only 2 9.6s or better. And you'll see that Heritage has steadily been picking up numbers, so demand has been growing. In the Overstreet annual price guide, we will see the growth in all conditions over the last 20 years. And you can see in low grade, it's basically doubled in 20 years. But in higher grades, it's gone up about 5 times. And if you really want to see where the market is right now, check out recent eBay sales. And if you want to see where the top graded slab copies are, go to gpanalysis.com and you can see how that market's doing. It's on fire right now for all these books. As I mentioned on the CGC census, over 1,000 copies, but no 9.8s. There are 2 9.6s and 7 9.4s. There is a UK price variant grade of this book, but it's pretty tough to find. Only 20 on the census, and the highest of them all is an 8.0. Next on our list with the same release month is Incredible Hulk number 3. So, of course, this is the 3rd appearance of the Incredible Hulk. And what else can we tell you? It's one of the most valuable first appearance comics of the early first year of the Silver Age for Marvel. Print run estimated at 125,000 copies. A little rarer on the CGC census, not as many copies graded overall. 800, but there are, by luck, 6 9.6s out there. Heritage sales again picking up. There's the classic cover, nice orange and yellow background. In the Overstreet price guide, you can see prices have been starting to really move. It's gone up about 2.5 times in low grade, and in high grade, again, it's gone up about 5 times. So you can just imagine what the high grade slab copies have been doing, which is always ahead of the curve. 3 9.6s, and 4 9.4s. My number was wrong at the top there. So that's the Incredible Hulk. And now, of course, remember that series was short-lived. It didn't actually sell that well. So it's amazing that we have as many copies as we do on the census. Next major key book on our list released this month is Journey into Mystery number 84. It's the 2nd appearance ever of Thor and the 1st appearance of Jane Foster, and features a Jack Kirby cover. Brown background. Again, the census is really picking up, but surprisingly for this being a major key book, again, even less copies graded, only 692, and there are no 9.6 or 9.8 of this book. Heritage, of course, growing as always. In Overstreet, we will see that it's about tripled in the last 20 years in low grade, and over 8 times growth in high grade raw. On the census, there's the 4, which are 9.4s, and there is 1 9.2. Of course, we also have a UK price variant, only 5 copies graded, the highest being about a 7. Next on our list, also released the same month, Tales to Astonish, number 35. And this book is also an important book. Why? Because it is the 2nd appearance ever of Ant-Man, who was the 2nd superhero ever created by Stan Lee in the Silver Age. But this is his return after an 8-month wait to bring him back. That sounds like what they also did with Spider-Man. Okay, so what can we tell you about this one? Jack Kirby cover art of Ant-Man. Again, getting scarce on the census, only 766 copies graded. There's only one 9.6. This one has a grayish silver background. Definitely Jack Kirby face art there. In Overstreet, the book has gone up 3.5 times in low grade. And in high grade, it's really taken off. It's gone up about 9 times in price. Of course, this book got a big bump from the Ant-Man movie appearances. And on the census, we have one 9.6 and one 9.4. There are 13 of the UK editions, but no high grade copies at all of that book. So there you go. Stan Lee created 4 different superhero books published that month with a cover date of September. Now we're going to look at the 4 books with an October cover date. Fantastic Four was now a monthly book, and definitely was the kind of the leader of the Marvel Universe at this time. So let's take a closer look at this one. Again, 12-cent cover, of course, for all these books. This was the first science fiction type cover for this title. Look, there's a UFO. Jack Kirby art, of course, and features the first and last appearance of Kurgo, Master of Planet X. Print run estimated 125,000 copies. Again, not that many copies on the census overall, only 736 in all grades combined. Heritage is really picking up. Dark blue background. And in the Overstreet price guide, you can see it's just a little more than doubled in low grade, but it's gone up 5 times in high grade. And on the census, we have 1 9.6 and 7 9.4s. Only 3 UK price variants graded at all, the highest being about a 7.5. Also out with a cover date of October 62 is Journey into Mystery 85. And this, of course, is the 3rd appearance of Thor. And, of course, Journey into Mystery was already a long-running title, and therefore is why it's already a monthly title. And, oh, look at this. Loki is on the cover. And, of course, this is a major book. First appearance of Loki and Heimdall, and the first appearance of Asgard. Also, a mention and brief appearance of Odin. Jack Kirby cover art, print run estimated at 132,000 copies. Look at this in the last few years. The CG census has doubled. There's only 4 9.6s or better. Heritage has really been picking up. Overstreet price guide used to be a cheap book, but it has gone up 6 times in low grade because it is a cheaper book overall. And in high grade, look at that. It has gone up 13 times in price in the last 20 years. 1,050 copies graded. This one's a little more common, but also higher demand because it's the first appearance of Loki. This is a major first appearance book. 4 9.6s and 6 9.4s. There's only 5 of the UK price variants graded, the highest being a 7.0. Next on our list, another major key book. Stan Lee's really on our roll here. Strange Tales 101. Why is this book so important? Because this book now officially becomes a superhero title as of this issue, and the Human Torch is featured on the cover, and this would become his book for solo stories. So from this month onward, the Human Torch is featured in 2 different Marvel titles every single month. Does that mean that Stan Lee actually thought the Human Torch was Marvel's best character at this time? It would seem so. And of course, the Fantastic Four would guest appear in many of the issues of Strange Tales. The CGC census is quite low, though, only 619, even though this, in a sense, is a #1 issue. Only 2 9.6s or better. Heritage sales have definitely been picking up, though crazy. Nice sky, solid background. Again, will show defects very easy. In the Overstreet price guide, this is still a cheap book. It's always been undervalued. I've been saying that for decades now. It's still cheap compared to all the major books of this time. It is not a first appearance, unfortunately. Maybe that's the only reason why it's cheaper. But it is a historically an important book. In low grade, you can see it's gone up about 2.5 times. And in high grade, it's gone up about 5 times. On the census, we have 2 9.6s and 5 9.4s. There are only 3 UK price variants graded at all, and the highest being a 7.5. And finally, Tales to Astonish, number 36. And what's good about this book? It is the 3rd appearance of Ant-Man. It's now running monthly for him. So what else can we tell you? Jack Kirby cover. Kind of a cool, fun cover there. Census is quite low on this book, being it's only a 3rd appearance. But don't let that fool you. These books are really hard to find, regardless of whether they're first appearance books or not. 419 copies only graded. Heritage is also a lot lower than the other books. Still only 2 9.6s. Overstreet Price Guide still not moving very much. This one has only doubled in 20 years in low grade, but high grade it's gone up about 4.5 times. On the census, we have 2 9.8s, no 9.6s, and 2 9.4s. And only 2 UK price variants, the highest being a 7. Let's compare these books on the CG census. Which one are the rarest ones? Which ones are highest graded? You'll notice on the chart that Tales to Astonish 36, which we just saw, is the only book released in this time that has any 9.8 copies. There are 2 of them. That's miraculous, really. But most of the other books do at least have 9.6s. The most common being Journey to Mystery 85. Again, Loki's big book. So there's 4 of them. Interestingly, Journey to Mystery 84 is the only book that does not even have a 9.6. What else can we tell you from the census? Well, we can see that Journey into Mystery 85 is considered the biggest key of this time period with 1,050 copies graded, but Fantastic Four number 6 is following close behind with 1,018. The book with the least copies graded is Tales to Astonish 36, only 419. It's the 3rd appearance of Ant-Man. And looking at the average grade, you'll see that because there's so many lower grades graded by CGC, that 4 and 5 is really the average grade of copies out there. So keep that in mind when you're trying to hunt up copies. Anything above a 5 is actually going to be very hard to find. There's going to be very few on the market. And the census shows that there's just not many out there. So there you go. That is the 8 books on the market from Marvel. Cover dates of September and October 1962. And if you're wondering when they were really on the stands, that would have been approximately 2 months earlier. So July and August. So these were the summer 1962 books that kids would have gone and taken their money, and if they had 12 cents, they could have bought a comic. And basically with 4 superhero comics a month, that's basically 1 a month. So if you had 12 cents a month, you could have bought all 8 of them. And of course, there were many Marvel completists back in the 60s and 70s when it was still affordable to collect them all. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next week with the next couple of months coming up in the history of Marvel Silver Age superhero books. Thanks for watching.